Hi. I said I was going to stop doing best albums lists and just move on to other mediums, or move on to working on my own lists, which is important too. But that was evidently a lie. We're going to look at Vice's list. A couple friends of mine have read it, and both of them recommended it to me. They said it was pretty different than all the other lists they've seen so far. I see here that Def Hazen is the artist of the decade, but then Jack Antonoff is also the artist of the decade. We have one spoiler that Popcans Forever is ranked the 44th best album of the decade, and then two other confirmations of it. So I vaguely have a sense of what we're getting into. We have some nice art here of people drifting in space, listening to music, certainly a feeling I can relate to. How do you narrow down an entire decade of genre-breaking music down into 100 albums? It's an impossible task, but we did it. It is a really hard task. Like, I have been working on my list. And I think at this point, I just have to admit to myself that I'm never going to be completely satisfied. That there's always going to be parts of myself that dislike any given list. And that I'm just going to have to pick which parts of myself are more important than others. Um, yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. This is yeah, it's pretty interesting. I like to mention both of Brockhampton as an impossible to classify artist. I guess an artifact as well. But then also boy bands are back, and Brockhampton, as we know, is just a boy band. So I don't know if this will give us clues for who might be showing up on this list, but we're just gonna plunge in. Do I still have my um, yeah, here we go. Here's our decade sponging list, all the stuff that I've found on other sites that I want to check out myself. All right, woo, Salem. Salem, wow. This is the first entry of Witch House that we've seen so far in any of these lists. It was a micro genre that had its little moment, not in the sun, but like the brighter parts of the shade after really blowing up on the 4chan music board. Um, I don't know. I think it's actually really fun stuff to listen to. The gimmick for a while is that you would spell everything with like really crazy Unicode and stuff, so that it was hard to search for. There's still some Witch House type tracks I go back to, but it really was ahead of its time. Like so much of Witch House ended up getting appropriated into the hip hop sounds become really mainstream. It happened so quickly. Wow, Witch House. Oh, we're back. The nostalgia already. Cardi B, Invasion of Privacy, sure. This has been on quite a few lists. I watched a ton of this show, Rhythm and Flow. It's a Netflix show. It's kind of like one of those making the band type shows. They're auditioning all sorts of rappers from around America, giving them a succession of challenges and stuff. Okay, you gotta do a rap battle, you gotta do a verse with a famous artist, you gotta produce your own music video, whatever. It's really, really entertaining. Anyways, Cardi B is one of the judges, and she's super entertaining on it, and that's definitely amplified my love for Cardi B. So I should probably re-listen to this. See, now that I really understand like where she's coming from, what she sees as good music, to see how this like represents it. Could be cool. M3083, I was gonna say 38. Weird moment of dyslexia. Uh, well, yeah, I mean, this is true. Midnight City's sax solo is quite legendary. All right, sure. House of Sugar by Sandy Alex G. We've seen another Sandy Alex G album on the Pitchfork list. This DSU one. So I guess they've had quite the career, and I've just been pretty ignorant of it. Modest and eccentric albums to Bandcamp. Slowly expanding his musical palette. Releases on Run for Cover and Domino. Okay. Alright. Sure. Guilty of Everything by Nothing. What the heck is Nothing? Guitars? Guitars. But colossal. I like things that are colossal. Distorted post shoegaze riffs. Okay. It's selling me a bit. See if we can learn a bit about this band. I mean, these are all nice tags. Huh. Yeah, I don't know really anything about this. I guess we'll put it on the list. You can't. This is an image. What the heck? I have to type it out? Is this 1983? Or why did I put this is what I want. Vice albums. Nothing guilty of everything. I guess that's not so bad. Okay. Oh, Floral Shop by Macintosh Plus. I don't think we've seen this on any list so far. At the same time, like maybe we have. So this was the big landmark album in Vaporwave. Of course, Oneohtrix Point Never, a musical legend, is the actual inventor and originator of Vaporwave as we know it. And then there's some outsider type artists that you can see before even that had a lot of the Vaporwave sound already quite expertly realized, like the rapper Viper, for instance. But this was the one that blew it up. This was the one that like everyone listens to, the one that whenever you have that bum bum dun 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 dun. That's how it goes, right? Dun dun. Hmm? Wait. I mean, I'm all for this. This is great representation and honoring and stuff, but like I think in general I would agree with this, but it was Oneohtrix Point Never. This is like a pet peeve of mine that people don't give him specifically enough credit because like Echo Jam's just so solidified. It just existed. Anyways, yeah, this is the one that you've heard. If you've heard any Vaporwave, this is probably what you've heard. All right, sure. Oh, this one, sure, sure. Intense emo stuff. Huh. You know what? I can kind of get behind this. I wouldn't have even thought this was 2010. And that's a compliment. I would have thought that this came from like maybe 2007 or something. So entrenched in my consciousness is this idea of super obnoxious bro step, of the drop focused EDM where you have gigantic LFOs and wubs and you know, and it goes on and on and on like this, and then it switches back to the. I like that contrast. I genuinely do like that contrast. For a few years, I was never like super into this music, but I would listen to it. I would listen to it and sincerely enjoy it, even if I didn't think it was, you know, amazing. And this really did set the stage. Like this is the first one I can remember listening to in that mode. That everything else afterwards seemed to just model itself around of really staccato-y, like soprano range, really beautiful core type stuff, and then the huge drop. I don't know. It's fun, isn't it? Yeah, garish, unquestionably stupid, and unbearably loud. uh, I want to kill everybody in the world. Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah! Oh, okay. Happy to see this. This was also on the Pitchfork list, I think, or maybe the Gorilla versus Bear list or something. I think we've seen this on just one list before. So automatically Vice's list leaps up in contention with that other list by including Elisa Crampton, who makes just some of the most. This is like the exact opposite. These two albums are just any way that I can just. It's like anti-drop. I have no idea. It's so good. Mmm. Gunshots, chirping birds, and clicking instincts imbue the sounds of a indelible sense of place. My favorite moment on this album, though, is when they do work in a sample. Yeah, using this sample texturally. It's like the first few tracks are all just sort of generic noises. Like I'm sure they are kind of samples, but more that really deep crate digging, loop extracting type sampling, not like an obvious, hey, we're making this sample as like a pointed reference. And then on the last track, they start using the Lil Jon, yeah, what? They start using those like Lil Jon sound effects, and they're very obviously Little John. And it just kind of feels like the album's scope has now, it's grown like so large and sophisticated that it's managed to just like kind of like a slime mold so naturally just whoop and envelop something like a complete cultural artifact instead of these abstract cultural signifiers or whatever. It's so thrilling, and I don't know. It's like the most like honestly like almost tear-jerkingly beautiful usage of the Lil Jon what. Oh, a beautiful album. A beautiful, beautiful album. Magma. I would. Oh, okay. I had this a little backwards. At first, I was like, Magma is still making albums, but it's the band Gojira making an album called Magma. Gojira, I know, is quite well regarded among certain types of metal fans. I think they seem fine. I don't know. I don't really listen to metal that much. I mostly like Gojira from Mars to Sirius. This album cover of Space Whale. Love me a good Space Whale. And the like marbled pattern, kind of runic marbling. Yeah, that's cool. Mac Miller's Swimming. Sure. I really like watching movies with the sound off. Maybe I should give these ones a bit more of a chance, because it seems like people like the later ones even more than that. War on Drugs, sure. We've talked about them before, and how Sun Kill Moon has ruined them. Something called Pile, which released an album apparently called Dripping. Okay. We've invoked Flannery O'Connor, so that makes me interesting. In a better, more just world, Dripping would be on everyone's top 10 for the decade, and it wouldn't matter who recorded what EP about it or whatever. In this world, it barely broke our top 100. Oh well, but you guys made the list, so who are you complaining to? Pile and Howling Wolf vocals and shred-free guitar harmonies. Yeah? Well, that sounds interesting. Alright, we'll put it on the list. Just don't want to drip too hard. There's Jeremiah's Late Nights the album. We've seen this a few times. It's another one that I feel like I should give more of a chance to, just because I've like gravitated towards other things he's done, and then I don't know, it just didn't seem to live up to that. FKA Twigs, up on the list. Now, here's the question. FKA Twigs just had her second album come out called Magdalene. Magdalene? I don't know how to pronounce it. Like Mary Magdalene, you know? And it's getting fantastic reviews. I've listened to it. I think it's fantastic. It'll probably be on my list. Pitchfork, who, I haven't looked at these yet. I'm interested in both these albums. 7.4. Okay. 7.5. Wow. 1% better. Shoot, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah. So this got a 9.4 from Pitchfork. Boy, mustn't their faces be red, because they already put out their list and there's no space on it. Now I do remember them saying something about like we'll add stuff to it if things happen. So I wonder if they've done that. Like where would it be? It looks like they haven't. Maybe they'll actually wait until the end of the year to do that. I don't know. To me, list integrity wins over SEO every day of the week. Like, how embarrassing is this? This is one of the highest scores they've given all decade, and it's not on their Bendis to the Decade list. How embarrassing! So I wonder if it'll be on this one, because I think it came out before this list did. This list came out very recently, I think. Anyways, it's FKA Twigs. You know what's up with that. Wiley. Oh, yeah, he's like a grime rapper. Yeah. I've never like gone out of my way to listen to his music, but I've heard features and stuff. Sure, I guess I should put this on the list. I like grime. I like Dizzy Rascal. Hmm. Oh, that's interesting. It's like an interesting kind of release story. It's sort of like the Jai Paul release of Bait Ones. It's just, here it is. For whatever reason, you just have this now. It's not really released, but here it is. Pink print, sure. Choosing that over Pink Friday, I guess, or maybe Pink Friday is later, but sure. What the heck is this? Sheer Mag. Hmm. I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be music I like. Yeah, I don't know. Punk rock, rock, power pop. Well, eh. Psychic by Darkside. We've seen this on a few lists. And oh, it's Nicholas Jar. Yeah, that's right, that's right. This was the one that I was like, why wasn't this on the Pitchfork list? This got like a 9 or something, right? Wait, what's the dark? No, I guess I'll just search Dark Side. Look at this, 9. Why was it on the list? I don't get it. I don't know. I haven't listened to this. I guess I should. Seems fun. Ooh, Holly Herndon. Ah, this was an album that was getting a lot of hype when it came out. I don't know if I ever listened to it. It sounded cool though. It's like just really crazy. Like it has an absolute endless gluttony for different sounds and stuff. Skype samples, targeted audio ads, ASMR music, and alleged love letters to the NSA. Yeah, it sounds a lot of fun, doesn't it? Should check it out. Henge Beat by Total Control. Punk music, huh? Somewhere between Suicide, Swell Maps, Joy Division, and Devo, depending on the song. Wow. Alright, let's put it on the list. Huh. Exercise and quality through diversity. Well, that sounds fun. You won't get bored, at least. Oh, oh, whoa, 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 whoa! All right, this is super true, by the way. And already I was like, what? Why are they choosing these? I mean, my initial reaction was like, oh hell yeah, they put Gucci Mane on the list. Period. But like, yeah, why these specifically? I don't know. For my money, what's my favorite? Let's look at the gigantic list and see if we can pick one. I think if it counts, the collaboration with look at the gigantic controversy section. Twitter. Um, if it counts, I really like. This doesn't have all of them. Oh, here we go, mixtapes. This is what we want. I really like Trap God and Trap God 2. Trap House 3 I remember being good too. It has Mama is a banger. See, the thing is, like, I don't necessarily need these albums to be front to back classics, right? I just want some really good tracks that I can listen to a lot. So there's the World War III trilogy that they chose. This one, I think, is probably my favorite. This one actually is just wall-to-wall bangers. If you ever want to... Yeah, they could have given it a better score, but instead they gave it the sex number. Nice, nice. Yeah, this is like a fantastic album, IMO. So probably that one is my favorite. East Atlanta Santa I remember liking. Also just because the concept is hilarious. And there's also East Atlanta Santa 2, The Night Guap Stole X-Men. Which has one of the best album covers ever. Look at him. He's like doing a Christmas heist. Busting out of jail. Anyways, yeah. So it's a debatable thing. They wrote a lot about it. That's awesome. Light Up Gold by Parquet Courts. I never got into Parquet Courts. I don't know. For some reason, I just can't care, and I don't care that I don't care. It's like, all right, well, I guess I won't listen to this band, and I just feel content living my life not listening to this band. So sorry. Turnstile. What's going on here? What's the genre? Mad Vault to Rage Against the Machine. Okay. Oh, the future of hardcore. I didn't see the word hardcore somewhere somehow. So I guess it's like hardcore punk. Well, I don't need to listen to that, I think. Kelela. We've seen this a few times on lists, or perhaps another Kelela album. There's a later one, right? A more recent one? Or not. I don't know. I guess this is the one that was been on lists. I think we already put this on the list. Somewhere. Now it's been a while. Everything is new again. Anyways, sure. This is happening by LCD Sound System. Sure. Hey, this is just on one page. Thanks, Vice. Makes it easier. Ice Cold Perm by Hundreds. This is a rapper I'm aware of, but I've like never gone out of my way to listen to, and I've never really heard anything good or bad about. Is this friggin' James Blake? Yeah. Hundreds. What's going on with Hundreds? I could probably get into this. I don't really like G-Eazy, but I like Ferg. I like A-Trak a lot. I think A-Trak's a great producer. Alright, let's put it on the list. Here's James Blake. Sure. I don't know. I don't really care. That's fine. Atma. Yob. Metal. I could have guessed. This seems like it could be kind of cool and psychedelic. I'm just judging by the album cover, but I can't imagine myself actually listening to this. Prepare the Ground is Yob's best song and one of the best doom metal songs ever. Yob can play like stone that can flex like gel. Huh. Actually, you know what? Let's put it on the list. I do like some doom metal. I do like the stuff that's like really heavy, really droney. It doesn't feel like it's trying to prove anything. It's just like almost just existing alongside with you. That sort of thing is nice. Maybe that's kind of what's going on here. Let England Shake by PJ Harvey. Sure. She's got quite a following. I'm surprised we haven't seen this album on more lists, actually. I think it's quite well regarded. It won a Mercury Prize for whatever that's worth. Oh, sweet! Yo! Oh my gosh! I love this album. Oh, that's awesome! Vice really out here with the grime. Vice not griming me with the grime. Oh yeah, it's great. I don't know if yeah, that is actually I guess a standout track. It's pretty beautiful. This is so nice. What I think is so good about this song is that it has this like diegetic blending that there's a part in the song where it like fades into a radio outro. I think it's this song. There's a song on this album that has this at least, and I love it. It like fades into the outro, and then there's like a radio DJ, and then the radio DJ kind of fades as if you're just listening to the radio in the car. Ooh, ooh. And then this is like just in the midst of absolute bangers where he's just rapping his heart out over the most grimiest UK club type beats. I love it. Journals by Justin Bieber. Wow. I did not even know he had an album called Journals. There's probably a few singles off here I've listened to. Yeah, I had no idea this existed. A compilation album. So I guess it's like a bunch of singles. I I don't remember listening to any of these. What the heck? Featuring Future. What? I didn't know about that. What? Okay, sure. I guess this happened. What is the Justin Bieber music I'm like aware of? There's singles that I know. I've never like listened to one of the albums all the way through. My World 2.0, My World, the collection, My World Acoustic. It's too hard. It's too hard to keep up with. The Biba verse is too confusing. Oh my god! What? Really? I didn't think this would show up until we read the real list, which of course is the quietest list. Let's check if that's out, by the way, now that I think of it. Whoa, what the heck is this? Doesn't look like it is. But I heard about this album at first from The Quietus. That's how I got into Dean Blunt in the first place. This was album of the year for them. The year it came out, 2013. I love this album so much. I go back and listen to this quite a bit. This and the immediate follow-up, Black Metal, which came out in 2014. I love both of those so much. They're both probably going to be on my list. Ah, I'm so happy. It sounds like how a breakup feels. More than that, it is just literally about a breakup. Very clear, but theoretically a breakup album. I don't know about that. I think it's quite obviously a breakup album, but well, yeah, okay. True, true. True, true. Oh, it's so good. Oh my god, I love this album so much. It's just, it's so haunting, and yet it's so, like, indulgent and cheesy, and yet at the same time, that cheesiness is, like, reminding you of like some deep down kind of beautiful associations. Like it's so evocative and yet I don't know. Okay, like as an example, there's a part where after singing this really like melodramatically sad song where he's going, "You bring out the best in me," which is a really sad line. You bring out the best in me, singing that about an ex-lover. Oh, and then it ends with this transition into people counting down the new year, and it's like heard at like a distance, like as if you were outside of a party. And it's such a cliched sound of people counting down the new year, and then the bells and the horns and stuff. But it's so like evocative. You realize like how much of human experience really is based on these kind of cliched experiences, and it just hits you like way down in there. Oh, I love the Redeemer. Okay, we must become the pitiless censors of ourselves by John Mouse. I don't know what this really is at all. I'm like vaguely aware of John Mouse. I've heard his name. I should get into this guy. Friends with Ariel Pink. Yeah, this sounds interesting. I don't know why I haven't kind of made more of an effort to listen to this guy. But we're putting it on the list. Apparently it's better than the Redeemer, which I love. Pitchfork gave it an 8.4. Huh. Huh, huh. I like this title too. From Alain Badiou. Okay. Whoa, what is this? What is this? I love this cover so much. Reggaeton, huh? Okay, I'm in it. Oh, Rosalia. That's how you pronounce that, right? Rosalia. Yeah. Okay, I know her. All right, we're putting it on the list. No more research. J Balvin? Wait, no, it goes like this. J Balvin Vibraz. How embarrassing. I just want to listen to it based on the album cover. I don't want to like convince myself anymore. Like I understand what it is. I'll probably like it because generally this sort of music I like. I just don't know anything about it. It's like difficult for me to encounter it normally. Lord's Melodrama. This is actually a lot lower than it typically is on these lists. I'm gonna call Vice a Lord hater now. Sure. It's here. I wonder if Emotion will be here. There's a little peep. R.I.P. Definitely something that we're seeing on quite a few lists. Either this one or the one where it's all red and devilish, which I can't think of what it's called. Sure, that's fine. African Giant by Burna Boy. Ooh, that seems kind of fun. Yeah, okay, let's put it on the list. Lots of albums we haven't seen on any other lists yet. I like that. I'm impressed so far. But there's still a lot of room for all of like the big hitters to still show up. Like I'm still expecting to see Yeezus, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, maybe even a third Kendrick album. Um, oh, you know, all of them, the big ones. Solange's A Seat at the Table, I Sure Hope, maybe some Beyonce. They can still get their pitchfork on. And then, of course, we still have to ask the question, where the heck are they going to put Have One on Me? Will it actually not appear? If it does, this list loses like 50 points. Norman fucking Rockwell, sure. This is one of the few that did not censor the title. So, you know, that's something. Um, I don't know. I'm kind of. I feel like I'm growing out of this album. I still really like how it sounds, especially kind of the opening runs of tracks. So I still listen to that occasionally. But it's kind of like all the meaning that I thought eventually would be unlocked by listening to it a lot has been a little underwhelming, I guess. Like there's been nothing that I'm like, oh, like now I kind of have some insight into the deeper themes of this album, the deeper. I don't know if that's like that could just be a personal failing too. Like I'm not saying for sure it's not there. It's not giving me that kind of literary depth. It's just kind of stayed at this level of yeah. And there's some lines that it's like the more I thought about them, the more I didn't like them. So there's a song that Pitchfork really liked. It was the one that Pitchfork put on their track list called "The Greatest," which already bugs me because there's a Cat Power song called "The Greatest," which I love. Once I wanted to be the greatest, the greatest, the greatest. I love this song. But okay, all right. Here's the one I hate. Life on Mars ain't just a song. And this is, of course, a reference to the David Bowie song. But it's it's like obviously not just a song. The only way this line makes sense is if the song Life on Mars by David Bowie was like literally about the possibility of life on Mars. And then she would be saying, ah, but if you think about it more abstractly, it's kind of like we're all living on Mars. But that's what the original song was about. So it already was not just a song, right? Like, I don't know. It really bugs me. Whenever I listen to this song, I spend the whole time like dreading it. So I don't know. Like, is there like another layer that I'm not understanding? Like, is there kind of like a character that this song is supposed to have as its narrative voice that makes this kind of like I don't know. Like I'm trying not. I don't. I'm not trying to be like mean here or something. I'll admit that this is much more on me, as like a big pedantic nerd that gets annoyed about stuff. But this really annoys me. Why would they say it ain't just Life on Mars ain't just the song? Like what? Like what does that mean? Oh, it bugs me. It bugs me. Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on. The darkness, the deepness. I do like that line. That's in, yeah, this is probably my favorite song. It's a banger. Yeah, most powerful song. Thank you. The Dreams Love King, definitely a super underrated artist in hip hop. Someone who's contributed behind the scenes so much. Your favorite singer's favorite songwriter. Hell yeah. Um, Look at this. Jesus. How do you write both of these? Hmm. Insane. Yeah, I should probably listen to this some more. I really like the stuff he does on other tracks. Like not just his songwriting, but very rarely he'll also just do vocals. And it's like, my God, like why did you go into songwriting? Your voice is actually amazing. Like you should have people songwriting for you, if anything. Not that his songwriting isn't great. I'm not sure what point I tried to make there. But probably one of my yeah, like a top 5 moment on A Seat at the Table for me is when he sings very briefly. Don't clip my wings before I learn to fly. I can't express how good it sounds. Like that was a terrible rendition. Just go listen to it yourself. There's Sophie. Nice. Awesome. Good for her. Cracking the top 60. I should listen to this some more. I mean, I don't know. Woo! What? What? They're going a little crazy with this. Oh, because it's Mad Lib. I don't know. That seems a little cheesy. The producer is Mad Lib, so they wrote it as if it was Mad Libs, but it's like Mad Lib has had a prolific and critically acclaimed career in hip hop for like since the early 2000s, if not even earlier. So shouldn't you have gotten this out of your system by now? But it is really good. This is just a wall-to-wall bangers type album, and the production is godly, and Freddie Gibbs is amazing at rapping, and it's one of those albums where you almost feel like disgusted by how good the beat changes are. Like the next beat comes on, you're like, oh my god, like how are they doing this? Oh, it's so good. Bon Iver, Bon Iver. Sure. If they put 22 a million above this, I'll give them 22 million points. But I don't think they will. Nobody gets it enough to do that. Hey, they use the word pastoral. I love this word. So I'll give them 100 points for that. Hey, there's this guy again. Good old Space Cowboy, or whatever the hell he is. I guess I should listen to it. We've seen it on almost every one of these lists. It's like he was a country singer and then he took a lot of drugs. Maybe that's the narrative that'll get me into this. There's the Epic. Yes. Pretty amazing. Huge achievement. 3 hours worth of music. Oh my gosh. Japandroids. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. I never really cared. Huh. They played it at hockey games. Okay. Well, that doesn't make me want to listen to them anymore. Grouper. We've seen not that much Grouper on these lists, but Gorilla vs. Bear had the AIA double album as their #1, didn't they? I think. This is the one that I think I listened to maybe the most? No. Still Dragging a Dead Deer Up the Hill. That's the one but that was like before this decade. This one I remember being good. I think I listened to this a few times at least. Yeah, I should listen to it more. There's Tyler's Flower Boy. Nice. The only Odd Future release so far. I could see, based on what I've seen so far, I bet some rap songs will show up. And definitely some Frank later, I would think. Surgical Steel by Carcass. Okay, based on this album cover, what are you guessing? Metal. I mean, that's an obvious guess. Do these, like, spell something? Is this, like, in a super obscure band logo? Because if that's the case, then it's definitely metal. If not, it might be punk. I think those are the only 2 possibilities. I'll be so shocked if it's, like, electronic or something. Punk. There we go. Sure. There's Jamie XX's In Color. Sure. I feel like I should like this more than I do. I don't know. There's probably lots of things I would like about it. Just something prevents me from finding it as catchy as it seems like everyone else does. Odyssey by Ozuna. Whoa. Yeah. No, this is news to me. This is a Latinx thing, I guess? Yeah. New king of reggaeton. The artist with the most 1 billion view videos on YouTube. Holy cow! Yeah, I guess I'm not reading the right music publications. Holy! How many? I remember when Gangnam Style got 1 billion views. I know that makes me sound like an old boomer or something, but it's like a very iconic moment in my mind. Like I can really remember when that happened. And now there's someone who not only has multiple, but apparently there's a competition between people who have multiple. 7 videos with 1 billion views. Oh, DJ Snake's Tacky Tacky. I've heard that song. But I did not recognize this guy's name. This Bad Bunny. Wow. Okay. Alright. Wow. We're learning stuff. I love this album. This is nice. Very powerful album. We've seen it a few times, I think, on these lists. This is probably the highest we've seen it up, though. So that's quite nice. So many more reasons to be angry at the world since then. Yes, when is she gonna make another album? Ideally with this exact same lineup. Hudmo and Oneohtrix Point Never. Like what? Like who could have ever imagined that team up? But it works out so well here. When is she going to make more stuff with those two? She has so many more things to write about. So yeah, she was in Anthony and the Johnsons. The Anthony of Anthony and the Johnsons, actually. There was this EP. I listened to this a bit, but I didn't think it was as good. But it had the same team. So please, another full length. Isn't it time? There's Channel Orange. Probably Blonde will be even higher. Sure. Nice, nice. Ooh, Aphex Twin Zero. Sure. Nice, nice. Yeah, I'd say this is the best Aphex Twin project of the decade. Probably will end up fairly high on my list too. Ah, this one. People are pretty split on this one. Has the same, vaguely the same praying hands as the Redeemer. A little different, but the same position. So they think this is the better praying hands album than the Redeemer. Tisk, tisk, tisk. I do like this one quite a bit. Mostly just like a few tracks. Know Yourself. I've been running through the city with my wife. No. You know how that shit goes. Then a few other ones are just absolutely bangers. But then there's like so many tracks on this album that I have no memory of at all. Which like is much less the case for Nothing Was the Same. Is that what it's called? Yeah. This one I have like some kind of feeling towards almost every song on it, even if they're negative. I don't know. What's my favorite Drake album of the decade? I guess Take Care, because that actually did come out. I actually like More Life quite a bit too. Who knows? Whatever. Let's move on. I bet Take Care will be higher up. Maybe. Party Next Door. Wow. Putting Party Next Door like directly ahead of Drake almost seems like a direct attack. Because yeah, he was like a protege of Drake's. I never really listened to Party Next Door. I think the name is actually really cool. You know? Just like I was talking about with the Dean Blunt album, just like with the Redeemer. These kind of positional sounds that we hear. The sound of the party next door. It's so important. Like so much rests on the sound of the party next door. Anyways, Forever by Popcan. Haha, I knew that was coming because we saw we saw all this stuff. Sure, I think this is already on the list. Halcyon Digest by Deer Hunter. Sure. Got that song Earthquake. Whoa, 56 Nights. This is backwards though. This shouldn't be a Future album. This is a DJ Esco album. I'm like almost 100% sure. I don't know why it's credited to Future on this list. Released by DJ Esco and hosted by Future. So Future is on every track. But I'm pretty sure it was released as a DJ Esco album. And the reason I feel so passionate about this is because the title, 56 Nights, is extremely personal to DJ Esco. As you can see here, was sentenced to jail for 56 days in Dubai. There's an amazing article here, this one, on the Fader, which, isn't this associated with Vice? No, it's not. Never mind. You should read this article. This article is amazing. It's just like mind-blowing. That ending has this like beautiful, subtle, sublime quality to it. Very much worth a read. So 56 Nights was like his expression of living through that and then coming out of that and being free to make music again. Free at last. Like, look at that. So I don't think it's right to call it a Future album. Sure. I don't know. They're just talking about Future. What if Future became inevitable? Well, that's what the word Future means. Sure is this one I've heard things about. Hospital, this is different than Hospital Records. think. Oops. Hospital Records releases drum and bass. Yeah. I was just reading about these guys earlier. Because of the long story, it's not worth it. So these are different things. Okay, good to know, good to know. House of the Balloons, The Weeknd, Uncensored, Thank You Vice. Sure, Grimes' Visions, pretty high up. Do you think Art Angels will be higher? I kind of doubt it. Sure. Ooh, Cupid Deluxe by Blood Orange. I really have been liking Blood Orange lately. I gotta go all the way back and reach into this one. What a genius. I just love Angel's Pulse though, the one that came out this year. I've been listening to that almost nonstop. Top 2 by Charlie. Sure. Deaf Haven Sunbather. Sure, we probably should have seen this coming since it was on the little write-up in the beginning. Oh, and we saw that other article that was like, Deaf Haven is the artist of the decade. They changed their mind. Jack Antonoff was not the artist of the decade. Deaf Haven is the artist of the decade. What does this mean? Anyways, so they're artists of the decade because they released an album that was the 36th best album of the decade. Alright, whatever. Oh my gosh, Blancavelli this high? Let's go! Yeah, this is so defensible. This is like actually such a fantastic album. Nothing else sounds like this, even now, even almost 10 years later. Nobody else has come up to this level of energy. Thundercat's Drunk, cool. We've seen a bit of Thundercat on these lists, but yeah, this is like a really good analogy. Thundercat is so crazy. His social media presence is just like moi, and his music is amazing, and his collaborations with Flylo is so good. Yeah, there's a lot to love here, especially this album cover. Oh my gosh. Good. There's Dirty Computer. Usually, I kept thinking we'd see the Arc Android. I thought everyone loved the Arc Android, but this one's been showing up like just as much, if not more. Sure. Oh, we saw this on really high up on the Pitchfork list. And then we saw other Angel Olsens on other lists. Huh. We'll probably see some Mitski too. I don't know. For some reason I associate those two in my head. Seems like if there's one, there's the other. There's Carrie and Lowell. But where's the Age of Odds? Where is the Age of Odds, my friends? No one has the guts to put the Age of Odds where it deserves. Nobody has listened to Impossible Soul recently enough to remember that it deserves top 10 of the decade. Well, maybe that's an exaggeration, but it deserves something super good. Okay, we're in the top 30 now. We're getting into the range where if they showed Joanna Newsom, I wouldn't be upset. Or I wouldn't be that upset. There's Acid Rap. I'm guessing no coloring book, just Acid Rap. Sure, The Monitor. Again, just kind of like Parquet Courts. It's like, this is a band I don't listen to, and I'm fine that I don't listen to it. Sure. Oh, wow, this is surprisingly low. Good Kid, Mad City. To Pimp a Butterfly will surely be higher. So maybe they felt like they had to space it out to some degree. But yeah, stocked with high-profile features. Drake. Dr. Dre. Am I missing any? Right? What are they talking about? I mean, there's features, and there's a few features that later became pretty noteworthy. But I mean, at the time, the only big names that were on it were Drake and Dr. Dre. Like, J-Rock was not a star when this album came out. Alright, well, whatever. Sure. There's this one, which we still gotta listen to. Sure. Ooh, Arca. Arca's self-titled. This is the one where Arca starts to sing. I still kind of like Mutant better. I probably should listen to this one some more. Yeah, Arca, a genius. There's Carly Rae Jepsen. At this point, I've become totally expectant to always see this album. So much so that I feel like if my list doesn't have this album, people will like run me out of town. And seeing it up here so many times, I think has genuinely made me think of it fonder and fonder too. So the listaganda is working. The list-based propaganda has almost completely sold me on Carly Rae Jepsen. And the weirdest thing is I haven't even like listened to it in this recent blitz of list mania and stuff. Like I'm not actually listening to it. I'm just remembering it and remembering it fondly. It's weird. There's Beyonce self-titled. Do you think Lemonade will be higher still? I'm assuming A Seat at the Table will be higher still. But maybe not Lemonade, because it seems like this one is generally outscoring Lemonade. Whoa, okay. Okay. Big Chief Keef out here at 23. Good job. This showed up on the Pitchfork list, or perhaps a different Chief Keef mixtape. I don't actually remember. No, I think it was this one. It showed up way earlier. It showed up in like less than 100, and I was pretty shocked and impressed. And now it's like all the way here. Oh my gosh. Robin's Body Talk, sure. This was way higher on the Pitchfork list, but you know, that's how Pitchfork is. Hey, Whack World by Tierra Whack. A great album. Of course, though, you gotta watch the video. I've said this before. Watch the video. It's so crazy. It's so wonderful. Sure. Wow. This is so low. This is by far the lowest that this album has appeared on any of these lists. Also, they used a weird version of the cover because it's supposed to just be flat. I don't want lyrics. It's supposed to just be flat red. It's just, what? So this is like a scan of the vinyl, but the actual like art as digitized, I'm pretty sure is totally flat. No, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong. Gosh, I have no idea anymore. It's like so much more obvious in this one because there's lighting. This is like an actual picture of a vinyl record or something. What? Is it just a flat color or is there texture? I think there's texture. Huh, I learned something. Just like I learned. I was listening to this song with this album with my friend, and he was talking about how he's like, oh man, you know what's so cool is the Iron Man reference in Hell of a Life. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, they like directly pay a homage to Iron Man, like the Ozzy Osbourne Iron Man. It's like, what? Like, and then I even sang along with the chorus. What is it? No more drugs for me. Pussy and religion is all I need. Grab my hand. But it's the exact same melodies that I am Iron Man. I never realized. I had never, ever realized. And it's like a thing. Like it's not it's not just like my friend's crazy discovery. This is like a very well-known thing that Kanye acknowledged that he did. So I'm just an idiot. Okay, let's move on. This is whoa, what? Wow, what a statement. Kanye losing to Young Thug. Kanye's masterpiece losing to disputably Young Thug's masterpiece. One that I would put in the top tier of Young Thug releases for the decade, but not definitively number one, at least in my mind. So in my mind, this album is like co-ranked with like 3 other ones at the same spot. So Kanye lost to just a facet of Young Thug, to just one face of the infinitely faced God that is Young Thug. Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. Really? This is the only time we've ever seen this, where this album shows up higher than the new one. Huh. Okay. But sure. Yay! Okay, I like it. My hot take is that Now Only is actually better. I actually like Now Only significantly better, but I still really appreciate that this is here. Nice. Oh, the Bad Bunny album. Okay. Wow. Sure, sure. Higher than My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. It's crazy. They're crazy for this one. Sure, Control by SZA. Awesome, awesome. Sure, sure, sure. Seen this on quite a lot of lists. It's actually lower than normal. Same with this. This is usually like a top tenner. Well, not usually. I guess it's just the Pitchfork list I'm thinking of. But here it is. Sure, sure. Tame Impala. We haven't seen any Tame Impala yet. Is Currents even going to be even higher? I don't think so. Sure. Wow, Miguel. Okay. Interesting. Miguel beating out Jeremiah by like 70 spots. Sure, sure. Okay, okay. Teen Dream by Beach House. Okay, we're almost in the top 10. Let's take a second and gather our thoughts. What's going to be left? We have A Seat at the Table. We have Frank Ocean's Blonde. Probably Earl is out by now. I'm gonna say Joanna Newsom. I want to really hope for that at least. I'm gonna be pretty dang disappointed. Based on this list so far, based on generally being impressed with the boldness of this list, I would be not that shocked that Joanna Newsom top 10 now. So I'll say that's coming. To Pimp a Butterfly, probably Yeezus. I think they're gonna make like a signification by putting Yeezus super high and My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy only 20. What else? Maybe Lemonade. What else? What else? What else? What else? Probably no Vampire Weekend. I'd be kind of surprised. The list hasn't indicated that they're gonna go for that Vampy Weeky album that everybody likes, or that Pitchfork really likes. Art Angels, I doubt it. I feel like there's probably no other like Gigantopop albums, no Ariana Grande or other Charlie. What else? What else? Jeez, I don't know. All right, let's plunge into it. Oh, probably D'Angelo, Black Messiah. Can't forget about that one. I feel like there's another big obvious one. There's been no Radiohead so far. A Moonshade Pool, I feel like won't end up this high. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Oh, wow. Okay, all right. My Guy, 106 Point Never. Cool. Sure. Dirty Sprite 2 by Future. Sure. I mean, I don't know. Sure. I mean, thought it was a joke. It's classic. Yeah. Yeah. No, I actually super agree with this. I think Honest has like so many good songs on it. But this was yeah, sure. All right. There's the Pimp a Butterfly, which I thought could be number one. It's always a contender for number one on any of these lists. Sure, sure. Wow. Wow. See, when Pitchfork put it super high, I kind of felt like that was a moment of deliberation on their part to kind of pluck it, you know, to say, like, this is the one we have chosen as our super mega pop album of the decade. I guess it wasn't the highest rating pop one because there was still the Robin album, but that's a little different. This is like gigantic global pop. But it looks like it's more of a common opinion than I thought. And don't get me wrong, I think this album is great. I'm just always a little surprised to see it so high up. Ooh, I'm glad they're talking about Consideration though. I think this song is so fantastic. Yeah. Yeah, I also agree with that. That's a beautiful song. James Joint. Which I gotta think is a reference to James Joyce, my beloved James Joyce. Okay. Alright, sure. Wow! Cool! Yeah, I mean, this album is a masterpiece. If you want to talk about the sort of genre it's in, of footwork, of this very specific type of really dirty, really aggressive footwork, what can compete with this? And that is a genre worth praising, worth celebrating, worth really getting into. Nice, nice. Something kind of sad, but not sad. Yeah. Uh, Girl, you know our love is real. I just was listening to this a bit ago. It's so good. I think I could be listening to this just forever. Like, it's never gonna get old. There's Lemonade. Okay. So what's left? What's left for the rest of our top five? I'm really getting skeptical about Joanna Newsom. I think that might just be Rip, which is very unfortunate. I still want to think Yeezus is there. Blonde, I'm thinking now might be number one, just like Pitchfork. A Seat at the Table also could be number one. What else? What else haven't we seen? D'Angelo? Maybe not D'Angelo. It doesn't seem like they're going in a D'Angelo direction. All right. What? What? Huh? What? It's like thrash metal? Is that what's going on here? Power Trip? What? Wow. What? I didn't expect an album that I've just never heard of. Pitchfork liked it. Okay. What the hell? Thrash metal, hardcore punk, crossover thrash. What? Even the Quietest likes it. Even the Quietest gave it a good review. I guess I'll put it on the list. We haven't put anything on the list for quite a while. I mean, I'm going to be surprised if I like it, but a lot of people really like it. Quietest gave it a nothing? And yet here they say they gave it a 9? What? What? I'm a little confused. Okay, alright, there was no way I could have guessed that because I've literally never heard of this album before. Sure. There's Blonde. So now I'm guessing A Seat at the Table number one. Alright. Sure. Oh, I need a second. Huh? Oh my god! Whoa! Okay, okay. So I love this album. This is one that I would put on that same tier with the Barter 6 in terms of Young Thug projects. It's a very tragic album insofar as it's the only full-length project that Rich Homie Quan and Young Thug put together. After this, there was all sorts of label drama, and they'll probably never work together again, which just sucks because their synergy on this is just unspeakably amazing. Here's the thing that like nobody wants to admit, but it's true. This album has too many songs on it, and a lot of the songs are just kind of whatever. Like they're not that memorable. They're good, they're fine, but they're not really memorable. There's nothing really special about them. It was just that they had produced so many tracks together. Like this thing is like over an hour long, and I would say it has like 7 amazing tracks and then like 13 plus tracks that are just okay. Huh. Wow. This is so great. Like, you know, I gotta give it to them. This is, as far as influence goes, this album is definitely in consideration for the number one of the decade. This is freaking crazy. Yeah. Very little. Well, see, this is, I guess, where we disagree. Damn. And there's a seat at the table. Yeah, okay. So no Joanna Newsom. No a few other things, too. A pretty crazy list, all things considered. I feel like now I gotta out-crazy this list. Because so far, I had this nice prideful feeling in the back of my mind, like, oh, we just keep kind of seeing the same sorts of albums on all these lists. My list is gonna be so cool because it's gonna have a whole bunch of shit that like nobody would ever think, and a radical reordering of the ones that you do expect. But this did kind of all of that. So where do I go from here? Makes me feel kind of basic now that I'm gonna put My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy in the top 5 somewhere. But I think they're more just wrong. I think they're just straight up wrong that all these albums are better than it. Like, what? Like, really? I mean, I love all of the albums on this part that I've heard, except for maybe this, I guess, which I think is just whatever. But, like, what? Like, what? This is crazy. This is so crazy. Okay, I probably should go do something else. This is a long video, but I hope you enjoyed it. Um, if there's more interesting music lists, I'll look at them. But as I said, I'd prefer to look at other mediums. Probably Vice has some other lists. There's probably a tag down here. Best of the decade. Tame and oh, so this is like a thing. Everybody is artist of the decade. They're just doing that. Okay, so far it's only this, but maybe there's gonna be more coming out. I still want to read like a movies list. I want to find any anime lists I can. I'm just lists. It's list time. The list time this frenzied only comes along once every 10 years, so we got to really embrace it. All right, that's all. Bye bye.